Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the coverage of Canada Cup Season 7. Today we're deep in the lower bracket. Evernova, Luccini, game number 2 coming up in a jiff here. Game 1, somber times for Luccini fans around the world. Stand-in shed, faceless void. It was a tough game. They couldn't make it happen. Evernova looked convincing. Slicks at the helm. We'll see what they have in store for Game 2. I'm Ziori, joined by Annie once more. Annie, what's the good word coming into our second match of the night?
Hey, super excited for this. We got a first pick Bounty Hunter. So Luccini, they are all in for this. Bounty Hunter is so obnoxious in lane. Gotta be looking for those courier snipes. Hopefully he finds his levels, gets some of that track gold spiraling up. But Bounty Hunter does not play well from behind. So if Luccini lose a lot of lane advantage, a lot of map advantage, if they get stuck on high ground, it's gonna be 4v5.
Yep. Absolutely. Bounty Hunter, he is pretty highly sought after right now, and for pretty good reason. Of course, he can be super obnoxious, like you're saying, but one of the areas where he does struggle is pushing lineups. Teams that put pressure on, particularly in that really early phase, like before he's level 6. Enigma-type lineups, your Dragon Knights, even like Position 4 Beastmaster type games. Sometimes the Bounty Hunter can be disruptive, and other times the Beastmaster can be equally disruptive to the Bounty Hunter. And, well, we've seen what happens if that guy falls behind. So I'm always, 50-50 when I see a first-pick Bounty Hunter, because he can be shut down when you reveal your hand this early. There's no way to be sneaky with Bounty Hunter anymore because he's always banned out. If you're lucky to get him, if you can, and you got to scoop him right away.
Yeah, it's not one of those heroes you can sit back and last pick Bounty Hunter and everyone getting shocked. You can do that with a Ricky, though, which is something I'm seeing more and more in the Chinese scene, which is Ricky picked up as kind of a discount Bounty Hunter, and then if it goes late, scaling up into a semi-carry. So perhaps that's something Evernova could drag out for a secondary support, but at this point, just let the Bounty have his fun. They're going to go with the Darkseer Lifestealer as a first opener, and, stick and tried and true with the meta. Evernova are going to have some pretty strong lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing too crazy about it. The Lifestealer worked for in game number 1. Phoenix is still open, and I still think Lifestealer is just a pretty good hero against Phoenix. You have a carry that almost gets guaranteed right clicks unless the Phoenix is paying super close attention to where the Lifestealer is and when he's used Rage, which is possible. But you've got a Darkseer who will inevitably buy a Blink Dagger, so that's a decent carrier for the Infest Bombs, and still a lot of room to grow in this draft. So worst case, they've already got the Darkseer. Best case, they pick up a few more heroes that Lifestealer can hop inside. That Lion that we saw in last game, I think, could be a great pick as well. There's Lion's good in every game, honestly. It's ridiculous how amazing that support is.
Yeah, he's just one of those super sought-after utility supports. He offers a stun, a hex, mana sustain, and a nuke, so what more can you ask for out of a support? Well, maybe a silence here, and we could be looking to see something along that caliber picked up, especially up against a Darkseer. You don't want him to be able to get off his full vacuum wall combo, but we've got a Slardar picked up, so hopefully he plays nice and aggressive. Do you think we're going to see offline or safe lane Slardar?
That's a good question. It's hard to tell. They're probably still thinking about it. Offlane Slardar, I think you have to put somebody with him. I don't think solo offlane Slardar is really going to work that well. Regardless of what Evernova pick up in the way of supports, Lifestealer is going to be able to pressure him pretty hard with any kind of a stun setup sustainability. And a Slardar that's behind, doesn't really have a timely Blink Dagger, that kind of stuff. He becomes a pretty big liability. I think you really want to safe lane him, make sure he can get an armlet or something before the Blink Dagger really come online, set him up with a support that can kill, though. That said, Darkseer pretty good against Slardar in lane. Ion Shell pressures him pretty hard. There's a couple heroes that are pretty good against Darkseer. Lifestealer is one of them, like Bloodseeker, Juggernaut, heroes that have ways to mitigate magic AM, for example, mitigate some magic damage and also heal. So this is kind of tough for Luccini. I'm curious how they're going to lane the Slardar. It's pretty good against the Lifestealer. The minus armor definitely helps secure kills. The movement speed from the Bounty Hunter also really helps you, chase people down when they're tracked up. But yeah, the lane's going to be tough for Slardar. That was a long-winded way of saying a simple point.
Absolutely, and while you're babbling on, Evernova did ban out the Oracle, so there's no real way to purge off those Ion Shells, so he's going to have to go face-to-face with that magical tick damage, and he's going to need to either build super tanky super quickly, or swap out some lanes, do an aggressive try or something, because I don't think at this point Fishboy can get what he needs out of the lane if he's constantly up against Darkseer Harass.
Yep. Puck Bat Rider banned out by Luccini. Okay, nervous of a potential mid lane Bat Rider, it looks like. I think Darkseer is kind of their dedicated off laner, no doubt.
10 seconds
And
remaining.
Puck, yeah, kind of a similar vein, just getting rid of those control heroes that can kind of
5
control the
seconds
mid game
remaining.
tempo. I definitely like that. What
Yeah,
do
at this point,
Evernova
Luccini,
want?
they're banning out
Reserve
Vessels for the
time.
Lifestealer because you gotta have some way to get him into the fight, and I don't think
Radiant
they're gonna
team
pick
pick.
Storm Spirit twice in a row, but you never know. It worked out pretty well for them last time. But Puck and Batrider are also very, very common ways to have the Lifestealer dragged on into the party, and Witch Doctor picked up. Do you think we see another Void here?
10 seconds remaining.
Maybe. I mean, I are you thinking for
5
Luccini
seconds
or
remaining.
Evernova?
I think an Evernova safe laner. And then pop Lifestealer either into the jungle or whatnot.
Nah, it's going to be a
Reserve
safe lane
time.
Lifestealer almost for sure. I don't think Void synergizes that well with Lifestealer in general. Like, Void plus other melee carry is generally not that good. You really want somebody that can sit back, like a Medusa or something is much better where you
Yeah.
can, sit back, do range damage. Ursa for Luccini. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Off lane Slardar, safe lane Ursa, safe lane Slardar, jungling Ursa. I don't think
10
you can.
seconds remaining.
A jungling Ursa with a bounty hunter as a support is like the
5
greediest
seconds
shit
remaining.
I've ever heard of in my life. I can't.
Luccini, they're just going
I-
all in here. They gotta get an
Reserve
early
time.
advantage or they just drop off like stones. So I guess just going ultra aggro, like who needs lane farm when you can go just farm heroes up? I'm guessing they're looking to hit a power spike at like 10-15 minutes, but that is so greedy.
I don't even know if that's a power spike. I mean, Evernova are going to be online around that time as well. Witch Doctor will have his ult. Darkseer should have some progress towards a mech, if not have it, depending on how his lane goes. Lifestealer should have at least a core item, whether it's phase boot drum or phase boot armlet, whatever it is. He should have something that will allow him to fight by that stage. I mean, Ursa's not a bad hero against the Lifestealer. One of few that can actually go blow for blow with him because of the added damage from the attack speed. So in that vein, the Ursa definitely makes sense. But difficult to execute with. I think overall Ursa is not a hero that I would really want to play in this meta when there's picks like Death Prophet still in the pool. Perfect example for Evernova here. Great team fighter. Good synergy with the Witch Doctor. They've got a lot of physical damage, so I think this is like a perfect AC game for those three heroes. Desolator on the Lifesteal. Even just an early Blightstone like we saw Slicks get last game, that's going to add up with a Witch
5
Doctor and
seconds
Death Prophet.
remaining.
Absolutely, and I think at this point, Luccini, their win is conditional upon doing well in all their
Reserve
lanes,
time.
getting some aggro into the enemy jungle with the Bounty Hunter, and with the Death Prophet picked up, very
Dire
few
team
heroes
back.
fare super well against Death Prophet mid lane, so I love the way Evernova's drafting around this ultra aggro lineup from Luccini.
Yep. Lion. Oh, Luccini. I want to believe. I was so confident
seconds
in game
remaining.
one, and then
I mean-
it just slowly was sucked out of
5
me.
seconds
A-
remaining.
And now I'm looking at this draft like, boys, you are going to have to play out of your minds to execute with this.
Reserve
Like, just
time.
looking at the lane setup, Darkseer, incredible laner, right? You pick that hero because you want to put pressure on in the lane. Very elusive, hard to kill, and just nonstop Ion Shell action.
Radiant
Lifestealer,
team
Witch
back.
Doctor in the safe lane. At the very least, you're going to struggle to kill them, right? Very sustainable heroes. You've got a BKB, a built-in AoE heal. At worst, they're killing you because you've got open wounds, stun from the Witch Doctor. Death Prophet,
10
incredible
seconds
laner. We saw her solo killing the Storm Spirit in game number
5
one, right? You've got that
seconds
soul
remaining.
sucky siphon healing her up. You can't get away from her. And that Crypt Swarm doing massive damage, farming creeps
Reserve
while
time. 10
simultaneously
seconds remaining.
zoning out your opponent. Like, who are they going to pick to go mid that's going to be able to
5
match up against the
seconds
Death
remaining.
Prophet? Like, maybe they go Viper here and go just like all in fucking damage heroes. I mean, honestly, that's not the
Radiant
worst
team
idea ever. I feel like they need something with more control and more stun, but just Luccini have to do a lot in the lanes, and my point is Evernova have good laning heroes. This is going to be really tough.
They could go for something really safe like a DK, but then that puts their
10
lineup at
seconds
just
remaining.
like 90% of the time 4 melees, which is not exactly great against
5
something like a Death
seconds
Prophet.
remaining.
But maybe DK has that early lane sustain with the Dragon Blood, but they're gonna go for a QoP, so aggression
Okay.
for aggression. I like
All
that a
right.
lot, but can Luccini get enough of a foothold on in the laning phase to get this game on their side? I don't know.
Well, this draft definitely feels a little more well-rounded now with the Queen of Pain. They've got big follow-up damage for the AoE crush from Slardar. You know, once all the Blink Daggers come out for
10
Slardar,
seconds
Ursa, Lion,
remaining.
that's going to be huge, and they could definitely pick up some good team fight at that point.
5
And Quap
seconds
is pretty
remaining.
good against DP in lane. I think it's a fairly even matchup. I think DP can kind of edge her out a
Reserve
little
time.
easier. Like the ease of execution is probably in favor of Death Prophet, at least before level 6. But Evernova take a Kunkka. Wow. This is, and
That's
so
an
it's a
off lane
su-
Kunkka.
no, it's a support Kunkka. It's gonna be off lane Dark Seer, safe lane Lifestealer. It's gonna be a 4 Kunkka for sure.
Okay, well, it's played by Hook, who like 90% of the time goes off lane, so it must be a comfort hero for him.
If
I'm
it's off
hoping-
lane, I'll be shocked. Like if they go super greed, like safe lane Dark Seer, off lane Kunkka with a position 4 Lifestealer in the jungle. Like I mean, kudos if you call that one, but that's nuts. That is some
That's-
wild shit against
That's
this
too
lineup.
much. I was just looking at the fact that Hook picked it up, and I'm like, oh god, what is this? Are we gonna see like something crazy like Arteezy mid Kunkka? Because we all kind of know how that worked out.
Prepare for
Yeah.
battle.
I mean, we saw when I was who played the core Kunkka. I saw it not that long ago actually, and it was not as shit tier as I thought it would be. He was actually able to put some decent pressure on and farm pretty well, but I'm totally spacing on which game it was because I'm brain dead. Okay, I still think Luccini are kind of light on control. Like you've got the Lion and you've got the Crush, and that's about it. But on the same vein, Evernova, they're pretty light on disables themselves. You do have some pretty good synergy with the Kunkka as well as the Death Prophet. The Coco Rum, the Ghost Ship buff, really good with DP. You know, she's susceptible to being bursted down, especially against like a Finger, a Sonic Wave. But you get that Ghost Ship coming in, she gets all tipsy, and she's pretty hard to kill. It at least buys some time for those ghouls to stay around, those little ghosties flying around doing big damage. So in that sense, I do like the Kunkka pick, but it's still weird.
Yeah, I think weird is a good word here. Now let's take some bets here, because we saw Luccini. They didn't quite hit their stride last game. Evernova looked really strong, really cohesive, but with this draft, anything can happen. What's your prediction here?
What, who wins this game?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Luccini is not going to win, I don't think.
I have faith, man. The Sword is such a strong player.
I don't think any of them are bad players. It's part of it is the stand-in factor. There's some unpredictability there, but it's just the draft, honestly. Like it's not impossible. This is definitely a draft where they could snowball. But again, you look at a Bounty Hunter, right? When Bounty Hunter first started coming onto the scene, that was the same. Well, he's been in different phases, but recently it started around that patch where Shadow Fiend was picked a lot. We were seeing like that Yule Scepter Shadow Fiend, like the Spirit Bomb, these super greedy, like glass cannon. I'm just going to go mana regen, movement speed, farm. Bounty Hunter is so good at punishing that stuff. And as he came into vogue because of that, they realized he's actually ridiculously strong. He's got free vision with his ult. Now he's been nerfed a whole bunch. And, you know, it's pretty hard for a bounty counter to pick on certain heroes. An example of an easy hero to pick on is somebody like a Zeus. He's very slow and immobile, pretty squishy in the early level. Someone who's really hard to pick on is like an Invoker. You know, gets an early point in Wex. He can, scoot away with the Ghost Walk. He's got a lot of regen. Usually picks up a bottle. Death Prophet's the same way. She's not an easy hero to pick on. You initiate on her, she just puts on a Soul Siphon, and then all of a sudden you're the one that's intimidated, right? So who's Bounty Hunter going to gank this game? That's basically my question. Like, how does he get momentum in the laning stage? Maybe the Witch Doctor, but that's not even that easy. You know, he's pretty sustainable early on.
This lobby chat is hysterical. I completely agree. I think the Bounty Hunter is going to have a tough time getting anything done. If he gets 2 courier snipes, I think it's worth it, but Evernova, they're probably going to be pretty cognizant of the fact that Bounty Hunter's walking around, and, there's not really a jungler that Bounty Hunter's going to seep XP from. There's not really any easy core pickoffs. Like, maybe he can get the Witch Doctor a couple of times, but that's such a small chunk of net worth, it doesn't matter. So unless Bounty Hunter gets an early 6, stacks up a ton of track gold, I think it's just kind of a waste of a pick, honestly.
We'll see. I mean, there's always the chance that Evernova can overextend. With this Kunkka, I'm pretty curious how they're going to play it. He went for the Windlace level 1, so probably a sign that he is going to want to cruise around a little bit, be mobile in these early levels. Already has Dust of Appearance, so probably going to be their answer to this Bounty Hunter if he does hang around. in the mid lane. So there could be potential for some skirmishing, no doubt. But time will tell. Bounty runes around the corner here. Curious if Luccini are going to do anything crazy with these lanes, but it looks like it will just be the off-lane Slardar with Ursa headed to the safe lane. He's got 8 tangos, so he's ready to deal with this Darkseer, but it will be a little bit tough, at least until he gets the Morbid Mask.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what goes down there. Again, that could be a lane that goes either way. If Ursa goes ultra aggressive and starts diving towers, if he has a support by his side, maybe he can get it done. Maybe he can shut down the Darkseer, but that's a pretty big ask.
Yeah. Yeah, shutting down Darkseer is definitely rough. No skirmish for our bounty runes. Just going to be one apiece. Ched going to take the Queen of Pain this time. So Luccini will do a full role swap here. Ched going to be playing mid this go-around, which I guess the sword, he's going to be off lane again. I'm not sure who Sojiro was playing last game. I've already forgotten, but they are going to rotate it. Yeah, that was the DP. Okay, so they're just going to trade their 1 and 2 positions. Okay, I guess that's not too big of a change.
And they're putting Slicks back on his old lifestealer. Performed very, very well last game. I'll be interested to see if he goes for the exact same build or if he wants to get a little bit dynamic with it.
Yep. I have a feeling he'll do the same thing. Slick's a pretty methodical player, and that's a pretty well-rounded build that he went for. But was it Phase Boot, Armlet, right into Echo Saber?
Yes. But he had that casual Blightstone for a while.
Yeah, the casual Blightstone.
Fleet could be in some trouble.
He's super far forward here. Of
Why?
course, no point in Surge. I'm honestly not sure. He might be able to level up with triple Ion Shell. He might actually get a first blood. Oh my god, 7 HP on the Ursa. Flea is a madman right now. I don't think he's surviving this, though. This is going to be really tight. He is doing an absurd amount of damage. Almost gets into fog to use the healing salve. He does die, but really impressive pressure, honestly, in a 1v3 scenario. That shield's doing some work.
I think that was mind games, honestly. I think Ursa was like, is this happening right now? And Lion held onto that Earth Spike for so long just because he wasn't quite sure what the Darkseer was doing. In the end, it doesn't work out, but that was so close to like a double kill just with level 1 Ion Shells.
Yeah. If he had gotten first blood there, that would have been an unbelievable start for a Darkseer up against a safe lane try. I mean, that's... Again, it's usually Bounty Hunter that's putting pressure on other lanes. Here, they're like, Bounty Hunter, please just stay and help us with this Darkseer. He's actually really hard to deal with.
Top.
Uh-oh. The sword initiated on. Open wounds. Is this actually going to be the first blood? It sure looks like it. Nope. Looks like Lion actually picked it up down. Oh no, the Darkseer just died. I'm such an asshole. Oh my god. Why did I not think it was first blood?
Oh. Now Flea gets an Earth Spike. He's going back in. There's no Janata. Only level 1 of the Bounty Hunter. Can they have enough damage to get this done? One swipe from the Ursa does it. But he's super low now. Gotta make sure those creeps don't aggro him. He's down to 3 tangos.
Look at the build from the Darkseer, though. He went 1-2-0. Point in vacuum before Surge. That is... Wow, Ursa's living life on the edge here, but that's a crazy Darkseer build. I can't remember the last time I saw a Darkseer not get Surge at level 2 if he didn't already have it at level 1. Like, it's just such an important tool to be able to commit to stuff like that, then make your way out.
I think this Darkseer is content with going full kamikaze. When he is in, he's in. Now up top, we are going to have the sword. Playing a little bit aggro, there will be a cast. It doesn't bounce. They get the open wounds. They are going to go for the torrent. He's trying to dodge, but will not be enough. And looks like the stun will get cancelled. He finally gets the crush, but not enough to save him from the Witch Doctor right click, which will secure Witch Doctor a 101 KDA at 3 minutes in the game.
Yeah, brilliant for him. And this is the problem with the off-lane Slardar. We talked about it in the draft. Against a lineup like this, they can put a lot of pressure on. Again, down bottom, Flea in a super aggressive position. It's just a 2-on-1 now, though. The Bounty Hunter has rotated towards the mid. Looks like he was positioned for a potential courier snipe, but not quite going to find it. Or is he? Pudgeling gets hasted back. Okay. Whew.
That was a little bit of a quirky place to go for that courier snipe. You usually see him hide between the tier 1 and tier 2, but they saw him under tower vision, and he wasn't quick enough.
I'm not sure if he actually saw the courier fly down or if that was just lucky timing, so he decided to go for it. One of the byproducts of this Darkseer being so aggressive is he's getting pretty good farm. 14 last hits compared to the 15 of Ursa. He is farming pretty evenly, though. I see some pings coming out on the Death Prophet mid. She does have support nearby. Kunkka just kind of lingering back at home. He's got the X marks the spot. A lot of annoying things you can do with this position for Kunkka. You know, we've seen like the Kunkka Tinker, where you just keep bringing him back to the well. We'll hold that thought, though, as Ched Initiates on the Death Prophet, but Soul Siphon's there. They've got some return damage. It's a 2-on-3, but honestly, it looks like the Dire could be the ones to take it. Torrent comes out onto the Bounty Hunter. He'll be the first to die. Courier just hanging out. Cask now bouncing back and forth. Ched survives a bit longer, does find the kill on the DP, but ends up dying first. It's a double kill for the Witch Doctor. Juan now 3-0-1, throwing coconuts left and right. He is definitely feeling good.
Meanwhile, Ursa was killed off to Ion Shell damage down bottom, so this Darkseer finally getting some fruits for his efforts. Flea is probably the most aggressive Darkseer I've ever seen, and...
Bold statement, but he's playing well, yeah.
I mean, Sexy Bambo close second, but this guy is just all in. Like, he does not care if he has Surge, he just wants to go in, get the damage done, and shutting down an Ursa at these early levels is so crucial, and Ursa's only level 4.
Yeah, this has been a super effective Darkseer so far. I mean, Ursa dying there, definitely helpful. Mid lane. Oh, here we go. Initiation onto Ched. He's only level 5. They hit him with a Torrent X. Do they actually have the damage to finish him off, though? They sure do with the Crypt Swarm. Nice setup there. And the power of Kunkka being shown to us. Queen of Pain dying twice now before hitting level 6. Death Prophet only halfway through 5 herself. But these are the best times to try to gank the Quap before she has huge burst damage to potentially turn things around. A lot of pressure and huge space created for Slicks. Look at that CS chart. He's up to 38. The next highest is Ursa with 23. Everyone just distracted with skirmishing while he free farms away. I mean, Slardar has completely abandoned that lane. He's just working on neutrals right now, trying to do anything he can to farm. He's got an Iron Talon. He gets a crush on Kunkka. Little duel here. No, nothing going to come of it. This is really the problem with the offlane Slardar. And honestly, I think the sword's going to be a liability for most of this game. He's just farming so slowly.
We'll have to see what he's able to bring to the party, because I don't think you can tap him out. I think he offers a lot here, but
right, he's lowest on net worth, and they're position 3. I'm just saying. I don't want to be aggressive.
I mean, I don't think he's having a stellar performance, but I think Slardar, he's got a bit of a comeback mechanic. He's now hopped into the jungle. He picks up that Iron Talon. He's going to get some farm. If he can pick up a Blink,
Ursa got pooped on again.
That's a full wall, though.
That's okay. I mean, I think Darkseer is happy to use a wall to get a kill at 6 minutes. I think that's a trade that Flea will rest easy with tonight. I mean, now he's got his Arcane Boots soaring. It was good for the Darkseer. Now it's just incredible. I mean, he's crippling this Ursa.
What is this game? I've never seen a Darkseer look so dominant. He's using that Ursa illusion to farm up, and he's just raking in the last hits, now sitting second on the last hit chart, surpassing the Ursa he was laning against.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And again, this Bounty Hunter that we talked about, level 3 at 7 minutes, he's been pretty effectively shut down. He has been involved in all 3 kills Luccini has picked up, so that's a minor victory, but he's just not finding experience. One of the key aspects of this hero is the track, finding that ultimate, and now he's just getting out-leveled. Flea, level 7. I don't even think they can kill him unless he goes really buck wild and dives in deep. With the Lion here, they absolutely can, but this Bounty Hunter's damage is just so minimal right now.
He still has no points in Surge. They got that going for them, but mid lane, we are going to have a big old smoke. So we'll see if they want to go pick off the Queen of Pain once again. They do have a couple charges there on that Spirit Siphon, but Death Prophet's still holding on to the Exorcism. Not super uncommon, but with the amount of action that's been going, I'd like to see it picked up at 7 or 8.
Yeah. Well, at least she's 6. That's the first step. I can't believe Flea still doesn't have Surge, though. This is the most ballsy Darkseer build I've ever seen.
What is he doing?
Like, look at this guy. He doesn't even have Surge. He's just AFK in the lane. Okay, well, that wasn't his most flattering moment, I'll admit. But he has been dominating this lane really hard. Mid, are they going to find setup on Chad? No, it's down bottom. That's where the fight's going. Take it away.
I mean, yeah, they're just slithering on through the X mark the spot, just has a cute little zone there. We do have Hook picked up those Arcanes, so nice mana sustain from him. He's only level 4. Really wants that boat to have that really nice team fight control, and we'll see if the Sword's able to go in and get those Crush initiations off first, or if the Pirate wins once again against the Sea Creature.
Yeah. Taking a look. Life Stealer, just right into the armlet. Slick's not going to go for a Midas or any kind of farming tools. Happy with the farm he's picked up, and just going to go for items that'll let him get involved in these fights sooner rather than later. DP, she's sitting with pretty high net worth, but not a lot in the inventory. He's picked up some infused raindrops, now moves into phase boots, so pretty standard kit there. The big rotations down bottom. 3 heroes smoked up from Evernova. Going to rotate into the jungle, bump right into the Lion. He's level 6, he's got a finger, but can he drop it? Doesn't look like it. Coconut bouncing all over the place. The wall pulling him back and forth. Lion gets obliterated. Queen of Pain comes in, destroys the Kunkka, 1 for 1. And it looks like that's where the action will stop. Evernova just back out to their side of the lane. Couple of quick picks, both supports down, and that'll be it. Pretty even trade.
Yeah, this is just such a bloody game. We do have Slardar getting very, very low in the mid lane as Let Me Go offers some harass, and she's sitting on not that much gold. What's her first item gonna be? Does she go straight into the Yules like we saw, or does she go for something greedier?
I was thinking drums, but I feel like I've been talking a big game about drums this cast, and we haven't really seen that many. So, I don't know. Might feel like she can just get away with the Yules. I think against the burst damage from like a Lion Queen of Pain, I'd definitely be tempted to get the drum, just get some extra HP. Could see some rotations coming his way, though. Trying to get some extra damage in towards this tower. Level 5 Bounty Hunter. Thinking about it.
Yeah, he needs that level 6 like a minute ago, and now he's gonna go in to Let Me Go.
The
Again,
old
no tracking.
wraparound.
Oh, that
Oh,
crit swarm
God,
actually
no.
hurt Shed so much.
He gets uked. He gets an... Oh, my God. Are you kidding? An Invis or a Haste would have saved him there. So he does fish his wish. Now Finger gets dropped on Juan. He does survive through it. DP comes in. Slicks. They turn it the other way. Juan might still survive. Bounty Hunter trying to finish him off, but his damage, it's just nothing. He's got dull blades. 2-0. Evernova walk their way into a couple of kills after a lucky Invis rune pickup on the DP. That was... Well, the Dota gods are definitely in favor of Evernova, Annie. That's for sure after seeing that. That's brutal.
Yeah, and they're gonna convert this straight into a tier 1 tower, like not even bothering with the fortify. Oh god,
Chad?
Shed, he's trying! He got the blink, but can he get it off? They throw the boat for just good measure, as Death Prophet with the Exorcism with the Spirit Siphon secures herself another kill. 3, 1, and 4 on this mid-prophet. Exorcism still rolling, they're looking for the tier 2. Fortify popped out for that, so they're not gonna get the full tower, but it's looking really good for Evernova right now. This Ursa has not had that much game impact.
Yeah. I mean, across the board, Luccini's been in Strug City. Juan going to take an amp damage here. It is about a 6k net worth, 5k experience deficit right now in favor of Evernova. Bounty Hunter, yeah, just sitting on Urn. What's Ursa got in way of items? He went for a full Mask of Madness. That is interesting. I definitely would not have thought that would be the case. Casual Morbid Mask, I think, is a core farming tool. Opens up some Roche pop abilities. The Mask of Madness, we actually saw this morning on a Void in C Kappa, and it's amazing if you're like winning the game, if you're just balling out of control. If you're Evernova right now, you buy Mask of Madness Ursa because, well, you know, you're just unchecked, you can farm the jungle. It's a really good farming tool. It gives you great movement speed, go from camp to camp. But he's just, how's he going to live in a team fight, you know? Like, they hop in, Death Prophet hits him with a Crypt Swarm, the ghosts go his way. If he has that Mask of Madness on, he's just going to fall over.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he can convert that to Roche, because a nice early Roche would be great, and the lifesteal's neat, but he's just going to walk straight into Slicks, who picks up a double damage rune, like...
That could have been the Roche for Ursa right there.
Yeah, who did Evernova sacrifice to get this kind of rune luck?
Yeah, I have no idea. But, I mean, I think you don't need the Mask of Madness to do Roche, though. That's the whole thing. Like, Morbid Mask is more than enough for Ursa to do it at a pretty early timing, so... we'll see. Evernova starting to get aggressive, though. They're going to group up as 5, it looks like. The bottom lane is the target they have in sight. DP's ult not going to be up for 15. I have a feeling they're going to try to knock down this tier 1 without the Exorcism, and then move into this tier 2 to pop the ult and make this a twofer.
Certainly so, and I mean, Radiant, they're sitting on that Fortify. You know, there's no reason not to pop it, but they're not even showing any signs of defending it. They just let it flop over in defeat, and I guess they're looking for counter push up top, but you got Shed doing what he can. This Quap she's a struggle, and if we look at net worth, she's going to sit 5th on the chart. The Death Prophet, definitely surpassing her by a lot.
Oh, yeah. She's, like, not even making progress towards a core item. Looks like DP will just go for the Yules, and they are going to hold the ult in terms of pushing towers. Just going to move it right into the Roche pit, and this will probably be a nice, easy, uncontested Roche. Radiant did see him walk in. They've got a ward on the high ground near that bottom rune. They're pinging it out, but it looks like they're just going to trade Roche for a tier 1 tower up top.
Yeah, and, you know, not a bad trade here, as it's some map advantage for Luccini. They're going to have this jungle open up to them to get some sort of makeup farm. Bounty Hunter will feel a little bit more safe rotating on through, but Roshan is a really nice objective here, and they deny it to the Ursa, which is also pretty huge, as Luccini's lineup is based around getting the Ursa in, getting the Ursa farmed, and he's found diddly at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good trade for Luccini, but it's the best they can do right now. That little bit of gold does push Slardar over the threshold to get his Blink Dagger. Definitely a key item there, and now Bounty Hunter has hit his level 6. So a couple things going their way during that downtime. And like you said, opening up the jungle is never a bad thing. It might mean that Shed can start finding some gank opportunities. Kind of curious what build the Quap will move into. Is it going to go for kind of like that Orchid style? Is it going to be the Aghanim Scepter? Kind of the two standard openers, but I guess time will tell. He's got 1,500 gold, so he's going to have to decide soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, any item is a good item. Just make sure your Quap hits for more damage than a null tally gives you. And Let Me Go, gonna be zoning her out once again. Where does she get this makeup farm? Does she try to just skirt around lanes? Does she go into the jungle? Does she try to go for aggro kills? I mean, she just hasn't found a whole lot.
Yeah. It's been pretty brutal. I mean, Evernovas are just controlling the map at this point. They've got control. They know what they want to do. Just fighting around the DP ult. Dark Seer with his mech.
He's so aggressive. He's got like,
this positioning's
very little
unreal.
I mean, this ward is great, but he's just gonna go through baiting out Lion spells. Lion has very little mana, has the mana drain at the ready, but
at least he's got a TP scroll this time. Before he was making these plays without the TP. He might just find a free kill though. Lion completely out of mana. He's gonna walk into us and be like, wait, what? Oh, hello there, Lion. Okay, I'll drop a wall for this. That's, well, a sneaky play for Flea. I don't know how intentional that was. I think he was just trying to get out of dodge, but he does live. Yeah, now he's in some serious trouble. The sword catches him. That'll be the Blink Dagger reveal and the end of the Kunkka. Very nice. Though they did finish off that tier 1 tower top. DP rotates in. Ult coming up in 1 second. Decent damage from the Death Ward, but not going to find any kills. Ched blinks out, and whoa, in comes the Ursa. He's going to drop the Witch Doctor. Pops the Enrage, but now he might get turned around on. The Soul Siphon slowing him down a lot. The right clicks from Slick's adding up, and Evernova will clean it up. It's a fairly even kill exchange, but I think even though it looks like on the teamfight recap the gold's in favor of Luccini, Evernova did get the tier 1 up top. They defended their tier 1 mid, and now they have the DP ult to push into the tier 2 mid. So I think this is definitely in favor of Evernova overall.
Yeah, if we look at the net worth chart, it's kind of planed off at 5,000, but 5,000 at 15 minutes in the game is nothing to sneeze at. That is a lot of big items coming out for Evernova that just aren't there for Luccini. And, you know, we talked in draft about how if the bounty hunter doesn't get an early lead, if he doesn't make space, he's just kind of a liability, and that's what he's become.
Yeah. Oh, and still the Aegis up on the Lifestealer. They're going to have it for another 2 minutes, so I think that means these other tier 2 towers are definitely going to take some pressure. Even without the DP ult, they can still put some pressure on these towers. With the Kunkka boat, they've got that kind of reset tool, you know, keep people alive, push them back, use it as a zoning boat in worst case scenario, and just back out. Dark Seer has his ult coming up in a couple seconds, and he is just at Blink Dagger money. There we go. More initiation power for Evernova. Maybe counter initiation is the better word, because you can't forget there are 2 Blink Daggers up, one on the Ursa, one on the Slardar. And it looks like they do want to defend.
The scan reveals the full smoke. Evernova know exactly what's going on.
Well, they have a good idea at least. Pretty sick scan. Slicks breaks the smoke. He's going to initiate in onto the Lion. Rage is there. He won't get stunned up. The sword with a stun on 2. Follow up from Ched. Gets a kill on the Death Prophet, but the return from Evernova is just too much. Vac wall, boat from across the side, and now the Coconut bouncing like mad. A quick 1 for 3. X back will make it a 1 for 4, and they could still get the Bounty Hunter. He's dusted up, going to try to TP out. Do they have any interrupt? They do not. The Cask not going to make it in time. Still, a convincing team fight for Evernova. Their poor DP got obliterated, but pretty positive net worth gain there, and they will, of course, get this tier 2 tower as a prize.
Yeah, and the DP, it's not going to be too long of a respawn. She doesn't have travel, so has to scoot her boot all the way back down, but, you know, if they had had travels on her, they could have even pushed high ground on the back of that with the Exorcism, but just going to back off, be content with what they got for now. Roshan still going to have a decent timer on that, as it was very recently picked up, and
he still has the Aegis, in fact.
Yeah. And he's going to be going straight into that Desolator, which I think is the exact pushing tool they need right now. And Evernova, they're feeling very comfortable. If you're captaining Luccini, what's your game plan?
Eek. Well, it's feeling pretty brutal. I think the beginning of that fight was what they need to do. You know, Slardar crushed with Quap ult. That was really a pretty decent setup. It was unfortunate for the line. I mean, some of that was just the brilliant scan from Evernova, right? They saw that coming. Slicks was in really good position. He cut through the trees, really caught the Lion off guard. He was raged up the entire time that he was laying right clicks in, so Lion did absolutely nothing. Mid lane, we'll see Ursa initiated on. X right into boat. Rage on the Lifestealer, now stun. He's still enraged up. It'll expire. Vac back, but a great stun from the sword. Now the ult from Witch Doctor kind of pushes him back. DP from around the backside. They'll make an Ursa sandwich and turn him into a bear hide rug. Nowhere for him to go and no buyback. The Ursa's down, and Evernova looking like they want to go high ground here. Ult on DP is available, and they've got a creep wave inbound.
Yeah, 5 more seconds to vacuum wall, and that's just... Honestly, Flea could throw it out as a zoning tool, and no one from Luccini can cross that feeling safe. Queen of Pain, she's still got a cooldown on her ulti, so if that's really the main damage they're bringing in, that's not so great. Now the sword, Instant Trouble gets just ripped apart. This Darkseer needs some breaks, because he is just a monster here. The Ion Shell getting the kill for that one, but he's 7-3-3. He is just farmed to hell, second on the net worth chart.
Oh my god, the Bounty Hunter. They catch him. He was holding a gem too. Somebody's got to go in and scoop it up. Come on, boys. Flea. Nope, he doesn't get it in time. Looks like the courier came in and snatched it. Quick fingers from Luccini, but that's a very minor victory as their barracks are taking huge damage here. Exorcism's gone down, but the fact that Evernova can just pick up quick kills like that while sieging makes this lineup so scary. We're really seeing the power of the position for Kunkka, and not the abused like Kunkka Tinker. He just sits in the well and keeps Xing him, but more of this active, hey, kind of almost like a disruptor would, you know, in those scenarios where you wouldn't normally find kills, and it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, lots of utility on this guy, and maybe we'll see it picked up more, because melee supports have fallen a bit out of favor. Let's take a look at this Bounty Hunter here, who's picked up virtually nothing. He's got his arcanes, but he's not having a fun time, and he has found his level 8, so at least he's bringing something to the party, but it's yet to be seen if he has any potential at getting some comeback gold going his way.
Yeah, this is really tough. The Quap is the big one. Being so underfarmed is just bottlenecking them. They need someone to do big damage, and she does have her level 2 ult, but still actually pretty close to the Agnes. Has more gold in the bank than I thought, but it's too little too late. Ursa gets initiated on, doing huge damage. Boat comes flying through, actually hits him. That'll be the end of the Ursa. Luccini do get the Finger of Death off, but it goes on Flea. He just Guardian Greaves through it. Now the Exorcism comes, the sword, nowhere to go, locks himself in the trees. He'll fall, and that's it. Luccini have had enough. 21 minutes in, they'll get clobbered, drop some of their items, as few as they can before they die. Chet'll suicide forward, and they will tap out. 25-8, game number 2. Evernova kind of clowning on Luccini a little bit, can't lie. Convincing stuff here, Annie.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting game. Evernova, they are looking strong, and that wasn't necessarily weak play on Luccini's part, but major shout out to Flea standing in on the Darkseer, not even a core player, just the aggression from them completely stopped the Ursa in his tracks, made it so there really wasn't any early game kill potential for Evernova, and it started the slippery slide that was in Dire's favor. So overall, fantastic games. Definitely something to note here. And now Luccini, they're packing their bags, they're tapping out.
Absolutely. So that is where we say goodbye to Luccini, unfortunately. But Evernova, they move on. They have Complexity waiting for them in the lower bracket, and that's kind of the match that's bottlenecking this, as well as DC in the upper bracket. So this is where we do have a break for Canada Cup until the major's over. A lot of fun Dota to watch, though. The countdown, about 3 hours till it gets started. So y'all get a break, get some food in you, a little rest, and then buckle in for a long night or a long day of Dota 2 for day 1 of the Manila Major. It's been a pleasure casting today. A quick best-of-3 series. I'm Zyori. She's Annie. If you enjoyed the cast, we'd both appreciate a follow on Twitter at ZyoriTV and at AnnieDroid with 2 E's. Can be found at the top of this broadcast, and of course at Canada Dota 2, I think it is. I always get it wrong. It's on the overlays on the other screen. You'll find it. Stick around after the commercials. We are going to do one more giveaway for Loot Market. You could be the lucky winner that wins this item. Remember to use the code DOTACA if you're over on Loot Market, and that's coming up in a jiff.
This is the Galaxy's